shows now, recordings of the shows, how the characters change over the years, the sound of the characters.
You'd be in a taxi with Peter, and he would listen to the taxi driver talking, and when he would get out, he would be that taxi driver. But not only in words and voice, but in his whole metabolism would have changed. This was uncanny. I can remember having dinner with Peter when I was doing a show called Educating Archie, and we had somebody in that show who had gone, and he died. And it's just Peter and I having dinner, and I was like my head down like that, and I heard this man who had died speaking, and my black hair went up like that. When I looked across the table, Peter was eating it, but he had changed his metabolism, and he was this man. And I had to say, stop it.
When he did a voice, he became the character. He used to do an impression of Max Bygraves. And all he did was he did something like that with his mouth. And you look at Max Bygraves. And he had, it didn't matter what character was called up, he'd think of a voice for it. But if you asked him to do a Peter Sellers voice, he couldn't do it. He always had to hide behind something.
He wasn't very happy with me, actually. I think he was such a possessive person that, in fact, he preferred me to be around the whole time, so he never really liked me, I think. He never really liked me going away anywhere. And, in fact, he was always throwing tantrums or scenes or saying he won't let me out of the flat, or he'd taken 100 aspirins just as I was going on stage. But I guess one got used to that in time too, and you'd think, oh, well, it was just Peter throwing a tantrum. It was like a spoiled child, really, at its worst, when he was like that. He had been used to this woman that would allow him anything, that however badly he behaved as a child, he was allowed just to get away with it. And I guess he thought, well, I mean, that was instinctive in him. He thought that all women would be like his mother.
Sellers had married Anne Levy in 1951 and moved out of his parents' home and into a flat overlooking Hyde Park. His first child, Michael, was born in 1954. With the Goons now established as a weekly event, Sellers was appearing in several small-scale British films and was still making his own. To appear in an Ealing comedy was the ultimate accolade for British comic actor. Sellers was cast as a small-time crook in The Ladykillers, a black comedy about a gang of eccentric robbers. Led by Alec Guinness, their dastardly goings-on are found out by their elderly landlady. Reluctantly, they feel compelled to silence her.
Harry and Louis are desperate men. We must be careful. The step is clear. No one is running out now. That Goosehead is reliable and dangerous. I have to sweeten him. That leaves the three others. All right.
Lady Killers. Of course, Peter then was only a goon star. He was not a film star. He struck me as a very charming, chirpy little spiff with a big car, big red Bentley outside the studio, prominently parked every morning. And I had a feeling that he was rather impressed by working with a lot of established, so-called established actors like Alec Guinness and others. And he was very nice. We struck up a friendship, and he gave me and the others a special farewell present, which he had recorded on a tape. He was an interviewer. He played the interviewer. He interviewed Alec Guinness, myself, and so on. And he acted all the voices. And he sounded exactly like all of us, not like Peter Sellers.
How do we know we can trust her to do it right if she don't even know what she's doing? I tell you, I hate the little old lady. I want it settled here and now. No one is indispensable there. Only the trap, my plan. Do you agree, Major? Well, I'm with you, Professor. After all, it is 12,000 pounds all round. One round? I'm saying with more. I'm saying with more. I'm saying with more. What are you saying, boy? I want it settled here and now.
At the end of the film, he came to me and said if I could help him to get another film part. And he obviously wasn't putting it on. He meant it. And I meant it when I said, you won't need my help. You'll find your parts yourself.
I never really wanted to do much in the theatre. You see, I've been a great film fan all my life. I mean, I literally, whenever I go to America, I carry an autograph book around with me. And I never say it's not for me, it's for my sister, you know. I always say it's for me, would you sign that? Because I really do. You see some incredible people there. I mean, marvelous people. I mean, some I know now over the years, but others I've, you know, like when I first met Walter Pidgeon or William Powell. And I thought, God almighty, William Powell. I've sat there and watched him for years, you know. And I mean, it's ridiculous to ask for an autograph, except that, you know, you feel like you're compelled to, you know, you want to.
Sellers' success in The Lady Killers led to a string of other parts. He became such a regular player that no British film comedy seemed complete without him.
Thank you. And now, let me introduce you to the star of the show, the man who made it all possible, the Jack of all faces, the king of kindness, and the ace of good heart, Sonny McGregor. Welcome, Sonny.
A great big welcome to all the old folk and the funny young lads and lasses. I can't tell the difference, you know.
In 1958, he made The Naked Truth. He plays a TV star who's being blackmailed by Dennis Price. His character is a quiz show host who not only impersonates his guests, but uses his powers of mimicry to outwit his enemies. The whole film was conceived as a vehicle for his genius for characterization. Altogether, he played 8 parts. Here was an accolade, and a performance worthy of his hero, Alec Guinness.
Why are you going on about this, Graham?
Murder, Potter, murder. Murder by a person or persons unknown. By someone who doesn't even exist. A will-o'-the-wisp. Murder by a figment of my imagination.
Oh, no. No, you mustn't. You'd never get away with it.
I can smile. And murder, why I smile.
Oh, dear.
I'll drown more sailors than the mermaid shall.
You're a big trouble, isn't it, sir?
I'll play the orator as well as Nestor. Deceive more slyly than Ulysses could. And like a Sinon, take another Troy. Now, what if you could make up to do something around that barge of his?
Mr. M, to tell is one thing, but realize quite another. You'd only don't overdo it.
Why should I? because you always do. Frankly, you always overestimate Stripley.
I'll be sorry you said that, Potter.
All right, go on piling the gate. But for goodness sake, get this whole mad idea out of your head.
Now, too late, my friend. The die is cast.
I saw The Naked Truth, and I remember coming out of that film and saying that man is an extraordinary actor. I wondered if I could get him to do Brouhaha, which was a political satire about a Middle Eastern potentate who had oil and who played the Russians and the Americans off against each other. And I thought it was a very funny, extraordinary play, but it wanted a funny and extraordinary actor.
Sellers was starring in 4 or 5 films a year, making hit comedy.